Yes, guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to L5 Star FC. Please make sure if you do enjoy the content, before I get into it, please make sure you drop a like and drop a subscribe if you do enjoy the content that you obviously see. And today we have a match preview in which we look forward to Carabao Cup action, in which Liverpool take on Leicester City at Anfield tomorrow in the Carabao Cup quarter-final action. Yesterday, I was joined by Wakar. Go and check out the video of our Spurs reaction, where we reacted to some controversial moments as well as some key moments and more, discussing the draw in the capital. But we return to Anfield in what is a pivotal match in terms of silverware. We've got the quarter-final and we've got no other than Ben. How are you doing, Ben? How is it going, mate? How is it going?
Yeah, it's good to be back. Unfortunately, I couldn't be here yesterday, but yeah, I had to hop on this one. So yeah, I'm excited.
No worries, bro. No worries at all. Always a pleasure to host a stream with you. So, guys, welcome to the Carabao Cup show. Please feel free to get involved in the discussion. Drop a few comments in the live chat. This is a very open discussion. There's no right or wrong answer. It's specific, purely based on the fact that, you know, Klopp always chooses a rotated team. It was Pep Linders who held the press conference earlier, and we will obviously get stuck into it. So, Ben, obviously, as always, we start these Liverpool shows with a kickoff question, and obviously there's no right or wrong answer with this one. Now, yesterday we found out the Premier League, due to a meeting, are keen to carry on fixtures. We asked Wakar this question across the winter months. Vaccination rates have been revealed. So the 84% of players have been vaccinated, and by vaccinated, they've opted for a vaccination. They've received at least one dose. And if you include staff and officials involved with the Premier League, that's 92%. So obviously, considering the Premier League was one of the lower numbers for in terms of vaccination rates across and comparing the top leagues in Europe, I want to ask you the question: do you think do you think it should be a rule be put in place that every player gets vaccinated, or do you think it should be a bit more free choice and free will? What's your opinion on it? Obviously, there's no right or wrong answer. Comment section, you get involved as well. I want to hear your thoughts. And go on, Ben. Take it away, son.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's kind of a topic that everybody kind of has, you know, it's kind of a topic that divides a lot of people, but I think that, you know, there should be certain rules or, you know, certain mandates and stuff that kind of promote vaccinations in a way. Like, I mean, you see Klopp and Gerrard, like a lot of managers have been coming out saying that it's going to be something that they're going to look at, you know, whether a player is fully vaccinated or not. And I feel like that's definitely the right way to approach things, because, I mean, we've seen like once one player can get it, it spreads rather easily. And I mean, with teams where, you know, players aren't, where maybe a majority of them aren't vaccinated, then, you know, we've seen, you know, it can result in outbreaks like at Tottenham, for example. So, I mean, yeah, I feel like there should be certain rules. I mean, there are plenty of rules already, you know, for international players coming into the Premier League regarding, you know, working permits and citizenship and all these kind of things. So, I mean, why can't they put in, you know, a rule that says maybe when a player comes into the Premier League, they should be fully vaccinated? I mean, I just feel like it protects everybody around. I mean, we hate to see stoppages in the league and, you know, and see fixtures postponed and stuff. So I feel like it'll just make everything easier for all of us, fans included.
Yeah, I do think there's an argument that maybe more research should be done. You know, I've opted for the vaccination, but in terms of players maybe weary of getting it, I can totally understand that, because obviously these vaccinations have been created at such a quick rate that you know, you start to question whether enough research has been put into them. However, you've got to look at the data and what it showed in the link of hospitalizations from COVID and, you know, the case rates, because the case rates are going through the roof and the hospitalizations are still at a very low, and long may that continue. And you know, any person who dies with COVID is one more than there should be, because you know, it's not great for the, you know, the good you know, of society, this virus. But at the end of the day, if players want to stick to the fixture schedule, the vaccine is the perfect way to, make sure that outbreaks are prevented. Well, these COVID will still come around. Still, COVID can still affect players. COVID can, players can still test positive, but it will minimize the damage a lot more. I think the vaccine,
and it protects the background stuff as well. Because we all know these players are fit. The chances of one of them being hospitalized from COVID is pretty much low. But if you look at the background stuff like the kitchen ladies, the kidmen, the cleaners, these guys are the ones that are seriously at risk of being hospitalized once they get COVID. So the vaccine is it protects them as well.
Yeah, it's beneficial to not just the player, but also the people who may become more exposed and are worse affected from it. But obviously, less of that talk. What a brilliant way to start the show! I would just go through a comment on Pro Club's goals as well. Bellingham agreed with Klopp when Klopp said he won't sign any players that are not fully vaccinated. Well, there you go. I heard Klopp admit last week that every person involved in the AXA training centre and every person involved with Liverpool has opted for vaccination, which is very good to hear, and hopefully more clubs can follow at the same rate. But in terms of the Carabao Cup show, welcome to the Carabao Cup show. Liverpool, Leicester City. Ben, are you looking forward to this game? Obviously, a lot of people are looking at it two different ways. Could be a distraction for Liverpool in the sense that we've got that 26th, 28th game in a few days' time, or can this be a good way of trying to build the memories? That's what Pep Lijnders described it in his press conference. What is your mentality ahead of this game? Would you be immensely broken if we went out this competition at this stage, or do you think that we're further than we are usually? Let's go and push forward. What was your stance on it?
I'm excited, man. I've been saying that I look forward to cup games. We win this game and then we in the semi-finals, and like we win this game and we basically have our eyes on the prize, a final at Wembley. So yeah, this game kind of also doesn't come at the worst time, because we all know Pep Lijnders said in his press conference that they don't prioritize, but we all know that we would rather win the Premier League than win the Carabao Cup. So this game being midweek, allows us to rotate. We already have a lot of players out, so it's better this being, a Carabao Cup game than it being a league game. So that allows, the likes of Virgil and Fabinho more time to recover, when we're approaching the 26th and the 28th as well. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this game. If we go out, I'll be disappointed, but I wouldn't be heartbroken. At the end of the day, it's not the competition that we all have our eyes on at the start of the season. But yeah, I still want us to go at least to the final, man. Because City's out, so it's anybody's for the taking.
Exactly. How many times has City won it in consecutive years? They've been real popular in this competition in terms of just getting to the latter stages and subsequently winning it. So obviously it'd be brilliant to get as far as we can, and I think it's important to describe the status of these players and the status of this manager, because when Klopp does eventually hang up the match hat and doesn't manage Liverpool anymore, people will look at what he's won, and as good as a Premier League and a Champions League is, World Cup, Super Cup, and hopefully more of that to come. I think the best managers have a range of silverware and how they can adapt their squads to suit different competitions. I think that range of silverware does really boost your profile as an elite manager, and I think to get a Carabao Cup would obviously be brilliant. And I think this is the game. Once we obviously, if we hopeful we go through. Once we go through, it's serious then. Obviously there's talk of a one-legged semi-final instead of a two-legged semi-final, but the eyes are on the prize at this point. When you're in the last four, whenever we've been in the FA Cup in the latter stages, as soon as you get in the semis, you think, right, let's go on and win this now. We're close, we're 1 game away, 2 games away from the final, so let's go and win it. But we got to bring you some team news. Now, obviously, before we have to mention there's been a few injuries recently in which Liverpool are limited in their availability. I'll just get the image now, but they're without 10 players as it stands. Now, those contribute to illnesses, COVID, knock, and here I've got it here. So Virgil van Dijk, Adrian, Robertson, Fabinho, Curtis Jones, Harvey Elliott, Divock Origi, Nat Phillips, Thiago, and Jordan Henderson. Now, obviously, this is a combination of doubts as well as injuries and COVID issues. Well, Virgil van Dijk, we know, has got COVID. Pep Lijnders did confirm that he will not rush positive players back to games. So obviously, the likelihood of seeing Virgil van Dijk on the 26th is probably very slim. Maybe the 28th, he makes a cameo performance, but definitely Virgil van Dijk, Fabinho and Thiago and Curtis Jones are ruled out for that Leicester game as well as the Leeds game due to the isolation period. We also know Robertson's suspended. A lot of people are confused. He is suspended for the Carabao Cup game, Leeds and Leicester, but will return for Chelsea. In terms of Harvey Elliott, obviously he's still an absentee. Divock Origi, obviously top goal scorer for Liverpool in this competition, he's out with a knock. You have Jordan Henderson, who's a doubt for this game, could return, but that's still unknown. Obviously, Pep Lijnders said he contacted the club yesterday to ask to come back to training, so obviously he's keen to get back into the swing of things. Whether the management team will take a cautious approach with easing him back into competitive football will be treated in equal measure over the next 24 hours. And obviously we know Nat Phillips is out with a cheekbone injury after absolutely dominating Zlatan at the San Siro, and then Adrian is out as well due to a minor injury picked up in training. So obviously the big talking points there, we must talk about Divock Origi. This is his competition, Ben. Obviously, how big of a loss is him? We'll obviously get into starting 11 predictions very shortly, but out of the names there, is it good and bad that some of these players, they're not injured, but they can have a little bit of a rest ahead of what will still be a congested January and February, and that's prior to the postponements that will eventually come with COVID. So how confident are you with the team and the players that we have at our disposal for this match?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, Divock Origi being injured, it's a loss. Nat Phillips as well, Curtis Jones as well with COVID. But yeah, I think Divock Origi is the person we're going to miss the most because, I mean, he's our top scorer in this competition. Yeah, and it's also, a big loss for him as an individual because, I mean, he doesn't get a lot of games, so these kind of competitions are where he gets his games and where he gets his goals. So I mean, if he does leave whenever, these are going to be the games where he needs to kind of promote himself, show himself to potential buyers. But yeah, it's a big loss, but I still think that we have the team to I think we have the squad depth that to come away with the win. So but Divock is still a big loss.
Yeah, he is a big loss. Well, as we've seen the players that are not available, we must look at the players who are available. So that's where we go into the starting 11 predictions. So now this is my starting 11 prediction. I've gone for Kelleher in goal. I think Kelleher, obviously, I wouldn't start Alisson for this one. I wouldn't start Peter Luga as well. I'd rather start Kelleher. I feel he's a proven goalkeeper, and I want to see him get some game time at some point. And I think Kelleher is the perfect one to stand in for this game and do a job. The back four, a lot of people will raise eyebrows at this, but I've gone for Tsimikas, Nico Williams, Joe Gomez, and Ibrahima Konate. So not a bad defence there. Obviously, it's not the greatest, as you obviously are aware of, but I think it's the best one we can field. Obviously, people saying maybe start Connor Bradley, after a few of his appearances in the Carabao Cup. But I think start Tsimikas based on the fact that you need to get him up to speed, get him match sharpness ahead of the Premier League games, and obviously he had a little bit 10 minutes on Sunday. He'll get an opportunity for a run out here. You get an opportunity for the Leeds game and the Leicester game as well. So Then Gomez, Kanate, and Nico, I think, will go alongside. I think Tyler Morton, it'll be Tyler Morton FC. Obviously, had a tricky game against Tottenham because, you know, it's very hard to fill the shoes of Fabinho, but I think he did. I think he'll do okay in this one. You've got Milner, and you've got whether the likes of Keita and Oxlade-Chamberlain a bit split between this one, but I think based on the fact Keita did shy away from a few challenges, I think Oxlade-Chamberlain could be a good one in this game. I think he can shoot the ball from positions where if we're crying out for a goal, he can have a go, you know, he can have a crack. And a lot of people saying for the front line, people saying maybe start Salah and Mane. I know Pep Lijnders said in the press conference, he related this game a lot to AC Milan in the sense that a lot of people would have raised their eyebrows at the team selection, but he said, look, we have to play a team that can play the match at such a high rate, and taking into account the recovery rate as well. He wanted to start a fierce team, and that's why they started Mane and Salah. However, I think this is an opportunity for Salah to be rested, which is why I'm going to play Mane slightly on. I'm going to play him on the right-hand side. I'm going to play Minamino on the left-hand side with Firmino up front. That's my starting 11. Now, Ben, any changes to that which you would make? Would you start Salah? Would you start Mane? Where would you, who goes in your midfield three?
Before I get to that, I just want to say, you mentioned it earlier. Pep Lijnders in the press conference said that, you know, some eyebrows were probably raised with their lineup selection against AC Milan, but it's no difference to, you know, to the managers or to the players. No matter what lineup they put out, they still tell them like, yo, let's play ball. We put out the lineup that, you know, we're confident in, that we feel like can win this game, and I feel like we'll do the same year. I think back five is pretty much the same. Keller, Tsimikas. I don't think Conor Bradley will play. I just think, like you said, Tsimikas needs some minutes just to get him up to speed. If we're in the lead by maybe 2 or 3 goals, then Tsimikas will probably come off to just kind of save him for the 26th, and then Conor Bradley will probably make a cameo. Centre backs, Konate and Gomez. I'm excited to see those two again. I'm really excited for Joe Gomez, man. He's been basically like begging. He's been begging to get some minutes, man. So I'm excited to see him play once again. He's one of my favorite centre backs that we have. And then Nico Williams. He's played really well in these cup games, you know, and you know the opportunities that he's gotten, he's taken them. So I think he deserves a start in this kind of game. In the midfield, Tyler Morton comes back in. Like you said, he did struggle a bit, but I don't think he had a bad game against Spurs. You know, it's always difficult coming in for Fabinho, but he played to the best of his ability. And I feel like he learned so much in that hour that he played. So I just feel like let's play him again. Alongside him, Milner, because, you love to have his kind of experience in that midfield.
Yeah,
and then next to him, I think we'll go Ox because of the fact that he didn't come on against Spurs. So then I think that just, you know, warrants him a start in this game. Up front, it's a bit interesting. I say Minamino because, he's coming back from injury, needs minutes, and he's yet to start a game since he's been back. So I think this is the game where we'll start him. And then I think Minamino as well. I think Minamino will probably play on the left, then Firmino in the middle, and then I'm not too sure, but I think Kate Gordon can play this game, right?
Yeah, I think he's on the. I put him on the bench, but I think he's available to play this game.
Yeah, I think Kate Gordon will start on the right because, I mean, Klopp likes to throw in, you know, maybe 1 or 2 youngsters. So I think that Kate Gordon will start on the right, especially because it's been a while since he played for the first team.
Yeah, exactly. And, there's obviously a variation with the front three that you could possibly take into account. Putting Minamino is probably his more preferred position as, the striker, drop in between the lines, maybe play Mane in his preferred position and then play Kate Gordon on the right. You know, these are a few variations you could possibly go for. Actually, I'm going to change my front three too. I think Kate Gordon will start. I think Minamino will go on the in between the lines. I think Mane will play on his preferred position. That means then you'd obviously have Kelleher, you'd have Nico Williams, Morton and Gordon, 4 players, the youngsters. That's about right in a Carabao Cup quarter-final. I think he'll go for there. But we'll go for team news in Leicester's camp. Obviously, they've been hit for a COVID outbreak, much the same with Liverpool over the past week. But their Leicester's list of absentees could be even longer than Liverpool's. Although it remains unclear how badly the coronavirus outbreak continues to affect them after they're missing their last 2 games. We know that reports say that Yannick Vestergaard, Ayoze Perez, Ademola Lookman, Kelechi Iheanacho, Benkovic, Chowdhury and Delay Campbell among the players to have tested positive, meaning that all of them could miss out in midweek. That seems a certain. But injuries, this is the injury list. So Cagliari and Johnny Evans, Fofana's also absent. So meaning that Rodgers could be forced to field a makeshift centre-back pairing of what is believed to be Daniel Amate and Wilfred Ndidi. So they're obviously Liverpool last season in the sense that they're fielding a CDM in that centre-back position. But it says Wednesday's match is also likely to come too soon for James Justin, meaning that Rodgers could be without as many as 11 players. So Leicester's starting 11, based off injuries and COVID doubts, suspensions, means that Schmeichel will start in goal, Albrighton, Amate, Ndidi and Bertrand will go in the back 4. So Premier League proven, but in different positions always can be quite difficult. Tielemans, Samare, Maddison, and then up front, Harvey Barnes, Daka, and Dewsbury Hall. So it's still a winnable game for Leicester if they field that team, but you just feel like, we haven't seen their depth yet, and we'll see that tomorrow, their bench and what players Liverpool can still bring onto their disposal, because their COVID outbreak, touch wood, won't get as bad as that. But obviously, we'll go into some score predictions. How are you feeling ahead of this one? Is it going to be a good day for Liverpool in which we go to the semi-finals, Ben? Or is it going to be a bad day? Well, what are you saying?
It's a tough one because, we're kind of unsure of how they are going to line up because, they have 2 options to focus on the Carabao Cup because, they're 9th in the league and there's some pretty tough competitions, for the European places. But, yeah, I think Rodgers will go strong as well because, I think that if there's any competition that they have a chance of winning, it's definitely this one. So, yeah, I think they'll go strong, but I still think we'll beat them, man. Yeah, I still think we'll beat them. I think I'm going to go 2-0.
2-0, convincing, clean sheet, solid. And that is where we go into our quarter-final predictions. Obviously, you can see the full Carabao Cup quarter-final draw below. So obviously, we know Arsenal, Sunderland play tonight. Who's winning that, Ben? I'm going to say Arsenal.
Arsenal.
Yeah, Liverpool, Leicester City. You said Liverpool.
They could just, they could pull off an Arsenal and just mess it up, man.
This is Arsenal, we call them Arsenal, yeah. To be fair, go on, bro.
Yeah, I think, but to be fair, they have been in decent form, so I think Arsenal will pull it off.
Yeah, they should do, shouldn't they? But Liverpool, Leicester, I'm going to go 4-2. I'm going to go for a goal score. I'm going to go for a classic cup match, as Linda's described it in his press conference. But Brentford, Chelsea, any shock on the cards here? Thomas Frank both experience COVID outbreaks currently. Chelsea's depth may seep through, and that may be the defining factor here. But Chelsea have been quite sloppy recently, and they haven't got the job done.
Yeah, you kind of messed with my head there. I'm gonna say Chelsea. I still think Chelsea will come away with the win.
Yeah, it's a mad one considering the fact that Chelsea, they're damaged in the league at the moment. They're 6 points off the top spot. So does Tuchel prioritise the league and prioritise the squad to go forward in the league in the 2 days that they play on the 26th and the 28th? That is the big factor. Does he go strong to retain the integrity that he wants to treat this competition, or does he prioritise the league in trying to prevent further damage to the title charge? But the last one, the London derby, Tottenham Hotspur against West Ham. Both teams we've struggled to beat the last 2 times we went to London and faced 2 teams. But Tottenham and West Ham, how are we seeing this game going, Ben?
I'm going to say West Ham, man.
West Ham
I
win.
think Antonio, if Antonio plays, I think he'll do something.
Yeah, fair enough. I'm going to go for... So obviously I put Arsenal to win. I think they'll win off current form. Liverpool win 4-2. Brentford, Chelsea. I'll go for Chelsea just about. Although the Brentford Community Stadium can make it a lively one and can make it very difficult. Obviously, that game was a slender 1-0 in the league a few months ago. And then Tottenham, West Ham. I fancy West Ham beating Man City, beating United in this competition. It won't be a easy game for them at Tottenham. You know, we all seen the energy that they brought to the game, but I think they'll get through it 2-1. 2-1. Brentford will lose to Chelsea 2-1. So I think 2-1 to Chelsea. Liverpool win 4-2. And Arsenal, Sunderland, I think it'll be 3-1 Arsenal. 3-1 Arsenal on the day. But Goals Live Guy says 3-1. He says, yeah, Rodgers will want to prove a point as well. Harvey Barnes is available, asked Pro Club's Goals. Even Tony, masterclass against Chelsea. Let's hope, bro. Let's hope. 2-0 Liverpool. Yeah, let's hope so, bro. Let's hope. We will win the treble this season. You heard it first. A bold shout, but one that we can do. Yeah. We have the quality to do. So hopefully if we get to the semis, then that is something which I'm sure the players will have their sights on. But West Ham will win, I reckon. So based off our predictions, we've all said, so West Ham, Liverpool, Arsenal, and Chelsea make the last four. Who wins it, Ben?
What, like the
whole thing? The whole thing.
You know I'm gonna say us, man. Definitely us. It's pretty
Come
obvious, bro.
Right answer. You read the script. Now, to be fair, thank you all for you guys for contributing to the show. Please remember my channel, Klopp Dog TV. We got a watch along over there tomorrow, so drop over and show some support. 7:30 start for 7:45 kickoff. It's been a pleasure hosting the stream with Ben. Make sure you go and smash the subscribe to L5 Star FC. Hitting a like on the video will really help our platform. Let's try and get 10 likes by the end of the day. And please feel free to follow and subscribe to our YouTube team. See, the links will be in the description. They're just below our faces here. So go ahead and do that. But thank you all for watching. Big up to everybody who's been on the replay as well. I'm your boy Alid, and Ben's the absolute god next to me. But take care. We'll see you all soon. Come on, Liverpool. Let's do it. Come on.